Good evening. Tonight we're going to talk about a really difficult and polarizing topic. As you know, Christian America stands at a crossroads tonight. But no matter what happens in November, friends, we are always going to need each other in the uncertain years to come. As promised, I do have a few thoughts tonight on how we can get through this thing united and stronger than ever. But please, I would beg you, watch the entire show before you comment. Watch the entire show all the way to the end, and then please let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you very much, and God bless you all. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Michael Mann. This is the Remnant Underground. Well, the silly season of politics is upon us again, and the theater of the absurd is open for business. One of the big stars this year, we're very proud, is our own governor of Minnesota, the guy we like to affectionately call Lion Tim Walz.
The idea that you said that you were in war. Yeah. Did you misspeak as the campaign has said?
Yeah, I said we were talking about, in this case, this was after a school shooting, the ideas of carrying these weapons of war. And my wife, the English teacher, told me my grammar's not always correct, but
you can't make it up. It's so stupid. But old Timmy, now he's been working on his politics game. If you noticed, he's nixed the eyeglasses, for example. He's dropped a few pounds, God bless him, and he's got that point like you recognize folks in the audience. He's got that nailed. And his entrance now, have you noticed his entrance? Positively epic. So first we gifted you with Hubert H. Humphrey when I was a child, and now it's Tim Walz. You're welcome. But anyway, onward, upward, and awkward. Here we go. As promised tonight, we're going to talk about Donald Trump and the flip-flop on abortion. Now, before we even get started, what do you think? Can we actually do this without tearing each other apart? Can we do this without setting up that old circular firing squad? I think we can, I mean, this is American politics, friends. We can't forget that. Don't let them terrorize you into forgetting that. I mean, most of it is truly fake and gay. You know that, right? Some of you still want to vote for Donald Trump in self-defense. I said it myself a few weeks ago. I'll vote for him in self-defense, right? I totally get that. You didn't start the fire. I didn't start the fire. And there's a lot of warranted fear out there right now, isn't there? So we got to just come together and talk about this and get through it and try to find the truth in it all and stay together. It's the most important thing, right? Because if we see, those of us who see this whole thing through the Christophobic lens, if you will, we need to be the ones to sit down, to not be polarized, to not be manipulated, right? Talk it through without, most importantly, anathematizing each other. Because no matter what happens in November, we are going to need each other, right? This isn't going to go away whether Donald Trump wins or loses. We experienced that while he was still president. Do you remember when he was locked in the basement of the White House and they're burning down the church and knocking over Secret Service guys, right? This country's a mess right now. And on the other side of whatever happens in November, I'm going to need you and you're going to need me. We're going to be in a foxhole. We're going to keep the faith, right? Don't lose sight of that. Don't let them polarize us. That's what I want to try to accomplish tonight, I want to be honest with you. I want to be frank with you. For one thing, I respect you. I respect this audience. This is an intelligent audience. This is a Catholic Christian audience, right? And I hope that most of you expect me to speak my mind on this, to say it like it is, and not to be worried, like a lot of good people are right now, about losing the audience if we speak out on this. Everybody wants a hero. Everybody wants a politician. Everybody wants Donald Trump to be what he was in 2016, right? We all want that. Now remember, I was never a never Trumper. This is me talking. You remember? I backed Trump probably longer than most of you did in this audience. I endorsed him in 2015, right? So nobody is happy with what's going on tonight, right now, in this country, with that party, with the GOP. Thing is, friends, and this is, I premise this show by pointing this out, there is still time. This is politics. Politics works according to a certain formula, doesn't it? We're 2 months out. There may still be time to turn this thing around. remember back in 2016, a lot of you said, he's not truly pro-life. And I said, yeah, maybe, but he's talking like he is. So let's see where this goes. Let's ride this pony for as long as we can, right? So what were we all admitting at the time? Not that we're precious little church ladies who are demanding perfection from our politicians, not at all. We were demonstrating a willingness not to be that, right? We were acknowledging that Donald Trump could be pressured. Right now, Donald Trump is being pressured by folks on the center left. So I think it's not at all an unreasonable thing to say that he could be pressured back away from this disastrous position that they've taken. And that's all we want to do tonight. Let's talk about this. Who's with us? What kind of an alliance? What kind of pressure can we apply? I want to send an urgent message to Donald Trump at the end of tonight's show. If you watch us all the way to the end, I think you're going to get behind it. And I think maybe we can do something about this still. Despite the fact that it's Trump. We all know what that is. That's a wild card. Nobody's saying he's Charlemagne. Nobody's saying he's Jesus Christ. But he is a political machine, more so than we ever thought. What are we going to do? Just going to go along with this? We're going to tell him, hey, you know what? You got our vote forever for sure. Don't worry, Donald. Do whatever you want to the babies. No, that's not us. We're not going to do that. It'd be a disastrous thing for us to do. So why is this message urgent? It's urgent because this is not working for anyone, friends, right now. This is not working for this compromise. It's not working for the pro-life movement. The pro-life movement right now is being torn in half. Trump, what are you doing? Those are the guys that got you in 2016. You just tore them in half. Why? It's not working for the babies, certainly. Because now Trump, Vance are going to start handing out abortion pills. Who's the genius that thought that might bring in some support for this ticket? I'm going to talk about that in a minute. It's not working. The compromise is not working, even for Trump, Vance, right? At the moment, all the polls, friends, are going in the wrong direction. Trump picked up the endorsement of Robert Kennedy Jr., right? Guy that we, certainly supported what he was doing during COVID, but he's pro-choice, isn't he? But they assured us that this was going to be a huge boon. This is going to be a great boost for Trump. Have you seen the polls? It's going in the other direction since we picked up Kennedy's endorsement. And we're just 2 months out. We're not years out. We're 6 months or 8 months out where we can kind of wait for this thing to mature, and to come into view. No, we're 2 months out. And just the opposite is happening in the polls. You don't believe in the polls? Duh, neither do I. But the polls can tell us one thing. Trump, if he's going to win, and we all know this now from experience, if he's going to win, if he's going to beat that cheat, which is coming, he's going to need a landslide victory. And at the moment, that doesn't seem likely, does it? So we can learn that much from the polls. And that means that this flip-flop on abortion is shaping into a political disaster for him. So we're questioning the morality of what he's doing, right? But also, the other side of this argument is the strategic politics of what he's doing. What are you doing this for? This is suicide. So we have every right to talk about this now, 2 months out. Think about it. It's absolutely incredible to think that laughing hyena, Cami the commie, who's an imbecile, we all know this, that she leads Trump in all but one poll, the Rasmussen poll, and the Rasmussen poll over the past week has been going in the wrong direction, again, since we picked up Kennedy's endorsement. How is this happening? I think you know the answer. Friends, there's no point in leaving our heads buried in the sand on this. This is happening because this is war between God and Satan. This is a war between good and evil. I don't care if you think that's church lady talk. That's what it is. And quite frankly, Team Trump lacks the theological firepower, to say the least, to understand what that even means. So they're out there in the wind, man. They are vulnerable. They need us. They need pro-God, pro-life, pro-family America right now more than ever. Because Cami, the commie, she has secured the aid of the dark side. You know that. And she's done so by campaigning on what? On abortion, the bloody ritual in a satanic religion in this country, which has a blasphemous slogan to fuel it along. This is my body. Sound familiar?
Abortion is the demonic parody of the Eucharist. That's why it uses the same holy words. This is my body but with the opposite blasphemous meaning. Do you think it's a coincidence that the central phrase of the entire abortion industrial complex and the culture of death today are the same words of our Savior in the First Communion, "This is my body"?
Think about that. You want to have anything to do with that? This is my body, abortion, the blood of the innocents. Please, don't tell me we can't win without cooperating in the slaughter of this little guy. Please, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that that's what we believe, that we got to sort of put a few of these guys under the knife in order to save our own skins. Now, conservative commentator Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire, a guy who obviously does not want Cammie and Tim to win. So can we stop with that? What do you want, Cammie to win? What are you going to do, vote for Cam? No. If I hear one more person say that having a conscience issue here amounts to voting for Cammie, I'm going to put my fist through a wall. That's childish. That's kindergarten. We're trying to have an elevated Catholic discussion here based on principle. Okay? Nobody is voting for Kamala Harris. Okay? So Walsh, the guy who just humiliated, by the way, the Democrats in a humorous way by infiltrating their godforsaken abortion-promoting, vasectomy-promoting DNC, right? He humiliated them. He says that he would sooner lose this election than compromise on abortion. Here's Matt Walsh.
I wouldn't compromise on abortion, even if it really did mean losing every election from now to kingdom come. To accept child murder is to forfeit your soul.
What, is he wrong? Are we prepared to say that what he just said is an error? Friends, I know you're afraid. Of course you're afraid. We're all afraid. We're afraid of what's going to happen. You have to be a fool, to be insane, not to be deeply concerned about the future of this country, the future of our families. We all get that. I'm afraid. I know the evil we're up against. I live in Minnesota. My family was already locked down by Tim Walz. I know what it's going to be. I know what this little Hitler is all about. He's a dangerous little man. I know firsthand. It finally got so bad in this state that I found myself on occasion outside of Tim Walz's mansion screaming at him.
Let's remember this, Governor Walz. You say that you are going to save us from the COVID. Governor, we would rather die of COVID than die of tyranny. We will not.
Yeah, so we've been through it. We know exactly what's coming if this little man and his weird little screaming harpy end up taking the reins of power in this country. Of course, they're going to be fake and gay like everybody else. They're going to be puppets like Joe Biden. Let's not forget that. But we get it. Scary, yes. I'm the father of 7 children, 2 grandchildren, over 100 nieces and nephews, one of whom, by the way, my beautiful niece, is expecting her 15th baby. You think I haven't thought this through? You don't think I haven't thought what's going to happen to them? You think that I don't wish the lesser of two evils argument just simply settled it like magic for all of us? It doesn't. Not for me. And I'm going to show you why, explain why here later in the show. But the bottom line is, you think I don't realize how much I have to lose as a member of the press, as a guy doing, this underground, for speaking out right now in a climate of fear like what we have? Look what's happening. So many people, so many good people, terrified. And they're objecting and they're very upset with Donald Trump and this flip-flop on abortion. And then what do they say every single time? But I'm still voting for him. Because they're afraid to say otherwise. Well, maybe if there was enough of us having a serious conversation, we could come up with a better plan than that one. We don't like what you're doing, but we're still going to vote for you. That doesn't make any sense to me. Now, maybe we can vote for him, but we need to find out. And we need to base that on solidly formed conscience based on Catholic principle, right? And that's what we're going to do tonight. But don't for one second say that, Mike Matt has given up on Donald. He's going to try to go for some more views by attacking Donald Trump. You know what? Do you know what? The most successful videos we've ever done racked up tens of millions of views. And they were the ones where we backed Donald Trump. Bartenders during those years were coming up to me out of nowhere and asking for selfies, I kid you not, with me, Strangers in grocery stores and airports wanted to shake my hand. I had my little 15 minutes during that period. I was speaking at Trump rallies like every other weekend, it seemed like. And during that time, I stood outside our Capitol on a number of occasions and lobbied for Donald Trump. I stood outside of his hospital when Trump got COVID and prayed for Donald Trump. I remember on one occasion, I actually watched Donald Trump blast CNN from the press box. I'm standing in the press box. I'm standing there right next to Caitlin Collins from CNN, just listening and feeling the seething of CNN and those guys when Donald Trump was calling them out and mocking them, you know? It was fun. I got to tell you, it was fun. It was great to finally have someone in politics to root for as well. I told you last time, I'd given up. I wasn't voting for the Romneys and the Bush boys anymore. I was done with that, you know? And all that I have to do now, and I want you to think about this, right? Because my background, 160 years in Catholic press apostolate. I'm a poli-sci major. I'm not a theology major, political science major. I interned on Capitol Hill. I've been studying this stuff all my life, right? And I think I know what I'm doing. I want to give you my honest take. And all I have to do to go back to those halcyon days, those good old days of being very popular at parties, all I have to do right now, at this moment, is keep my mouth shut and see what happens in November. No one's the wiser. Do you want me to do that? Should we just kind of pretend like we don't see what's going on? Should we put our little pro-life sensibilities, those goofy little, sort of sanctimonious principles on hold for now? I can't do that. And why can't I do that? Well, I guess that takes us right to the meat of the show tonight. I'm going to try to answer that tonight, and I hope and I pray that we can come out the other side of this show united like we were before, some time ago, right? I'm going to do that. But first, I'm really happy, good news, a new sponsor, Assumption Academy. Now, here in the Underground, we've been enthusiastic advocates of homeschooling for years, but not everyone is called to homeschool. And of course, good Catholic schools play a key role in raising strong Catholic families. Our children, families, communities, and God, these are the most important things. These are the things that matter most. And Assumption Academy, a traditional Catholic boys' school in Kentucky, is committed to making boys into men who love God and who will defend faith, family, and country, right? They're doing such a great job, in fact, that the number of students now has vastly outgrown the capacity of their current school building. So clans, we need to unite. We need to help out Assumption Academy. They need our help. Let's jump in to support their work. Please check out boysacademy.org. That's boysacademy.org. So, what's my problem with the Trump situation? Am I just a little Karen, God-bothering everybody, God-bothering Donald Trump for failing to cater to my little virtue signaling? Is that what this is? Well, is Kansas City chief kicker, is star kicker Harrison Butker, who we were all very much hyped up on not too long ago for the courageous statements he was making, is he a precious little Karen now too? Because out on X the other day, this is what he said. He said, "No party or candidate is perfect, but I implore my fellow Catholic, J.D. Vance, to help bring the Republican Party back in line with the foundational platform that all life is valuable and there can be no compromise when it comes to defending the unborn." God bless this guy. He's got so much to lose, friends. But he's speaking out. And why is he speaking out? Well, he's responding to this, of course.
On the question of the abortion pill, what so many of us have said is that, look, we certainly don't, the Supreme Court made a decision saying that the American people should have access to that medication. Donald Trump has supported that opinion. I support that opinion. I think it's important to say that we actually have to have an important conversation in this country about what our abortion policy should be.
I know a lot of you are going to say, well, they got to say this stuff in order to get into the White House so they can continue to fight the good fight. Well, maybe, but that's also called consequentialism. You know, that's the end justifying the means. We can't accept that. And we don't even know that's what this is anymore, do we? I'm going to talk about the GOP platform in a minute. You want to talk about something that's going to terrify you? You won't believe how that's been stripped of all things Christian. But this little pill that J.D. Vance is talking about, that is responsible for 60% of the abortions in this country, what is happening to us? Who's advising these guys? Who told Donald Trump that it was going to be okay for him to go out on Truth Social last week and actually post this? My administration will be great for women and their reproductive rights. Their reproductive rights? Really, Margaret Sanger? Why is he using that language all of a sudden? And when he was asked if Trump would sign a national ban on abortion, should one ever come across his desk, J.D. Vance passionately says, absolutely not.
Senator Graham said to me, I'm going to keep saying that there should be a federal ban. If such a piece of legislation landed on Donald Trump's desk, would he veto it?
I think it'd be very clear he would not support it. I mean, he said that explicitly. Yeah, I mean, if you're not supporting it as the President of the United States, you fundamentally have to veto it.
So he would veto a federal abortion ban?
I think he would. He said that explicitly.
Again, some of you are going to argue that Trump is just virtue, or I guess in this case we'd say vice signaling to the left, to the center. He just needs to say all this just to get elected. But God help us, if that's true, well, maybe Matt Walsh is right.
If we are really a country, if it is true that we are now a country where child murder is so fundamentally popular that it's impossible to win by opposing it, then we are not a country worth saving anymore.
But it's not just Trump. It's not just abortion. Have you actually read the 2024 Republican Party platform? It's startling. Let me give you some comparisons. The 2016 platform, which led to Donald Trump's amazing, some say miraculous, trouncing of Hillary Clinton. The 2016 platform mentions God 15 times. The 2024 Republican platform mentions him twice. The 2016 platform has 9 powerful statements in defense of the unborn. The 2024 platform removes virtually all of the 2016 pro-life language, including the explicit application of the 14th Amendment to the unborn, and then goes on to positively mention birth control and IVF. The 2016 platform defines marriage as, wait for it, between one man and one woman. The 2024 platform drops any definition of marriage at all. The 2016 platform supported abstinence education. The 2024 platform says nothing about abstinence education. The 2016 platform goes on to condemn internet pornography. The 2024 platform says nothing about pornography. The 2024 platform says nothing about actually legalizing pot. But wouldn't you know, Donald Trump decides to come out now in favor of legalizing pot.
Over the weekend, Mr. Trump says he will vote for Amendment 3. That would make marijuana legal for recreational use.
So let's review. The Republican Party has long since been all in on divorce and contraception. Of course, we lost that war a long time ago. But now they're down with gay marriage and abortion pills. When you start adding all this up, friends, you got to ask, when it comes to Christian morality, what exactly are these Republican conservatives conserving? And if we sacrifice Christian moral theology on life and family, the nucleus of society, if we're going to sell out family, the very idea of Christian family, what's the future look like for us? What have we gained? And more importantly, what do we stand to lose, if not everything? And your only answer is, yeah, but if you vote for Trump, man, you're gonna get Cammie the commie, and she's worse. Okay, but that's not an argument. That's blackmail. And it's positively stupid, as I said before. It's stupid politics. Those who favor abortion rights in this country already have a candidate. They're already voting for Cammie the commie, aren't they? So who's advising Donald Trump? Benjamin Netanyahu? What's going on here? I say, yeah, but Trump, man, I mean, he sent abortion back to the states, exactly where it belongs. That's it. Is that where it belongs? Maybe that used to fly in this country, but I don't think it does anymore. I'll have Walter throw this up on the screen. Look at how young Americans voted in 2016. I'll pause a little bit so you can read that. Check that out. Keeping in mind that this was almost 10 years ago, can you imagine what the map looks like today? And why does it look like that, friends? It looks like that because the federal government, as we explained in a program or two, the Underground, a couple weeks ago, the federal government controls the public schools. Newsflash, the feds control the public schools and always have. And that's why they're not particularly afraid of Dobbs, are they? In fact, it makes you kind of wonder. Maybe they saw this coming. Maybe they saw Dobbs as an advantage on some diabolical level, right? Their public schools, as you know, have massive influence on how every state in this union is going to vote on abortion amendments, right? On marriage issues, right? And the Democrats know it. They count on that. That's their feeder system. That's theirs. Education is their thing. They dominate there. They ban God from those halls of education. You can't pray there. You can't be a conservative there. You can't defend marriage there. You can't be pro-life there. And the results of that are coming out in all their satanic majesty all around us now. All across this country right now, states are voting, aren't they? And they seem positively thrilled. They know what the outcome is going to be. In Minnesota, it already happened. We now have abortion as the law of our land, firmly carved in stone in our Constitution, no matter what the federal government does. But the ones that are up next are even more disturbing. South Dakota, really? They're going to vote on this now? Florida is going to vote on this? Maryland is right in the middle of it. We know how that's going to end. They're all voting for constitutional amendments that will enshrine abortion as the fundamental human right in this country, which is why pro-life warriors now, like Abby Johnson, for example, are really concerned. On X the other day, she says, I don't want the federal government out of the abortion issue. Abortion is murder, she says. Have pro-lifers forgotten that abortion is murder? Why are so many people willing to compromise on murder? Why indeed? What's your answer to that? Abby Johnson is now out and Tulsi Gabbard is in? Abby Johnson, you know what we're talking about? This is the pro-life powerhouse warrior who spoke, by the way, at the 2016 Republican convention. Now she's got it all wrong? You gotta throw her under the Trump train? Because, well, what are you gonna do, vote for Cammie? These people are operating on principle. Lila Rose of Live Action is operating on principle. Lila Rose, the undercover agent who famously infiltrated and exposed Planned Parenthood. What, she's got it all wrong? She hasn't thought this through? That Trump just has to say this in order to get in? Don't you see what's going on here, friends? These pro-life warriors, they want Trump to win as much as you do, as much as I do, but that not at any cost. And certainly not at the cost of sacrificing the very Christian principle, the very Christian morality that down the road is going to be so desperately needed to sustain the long war. The war isn't over if Cammie wins in November. If anything, it's going to heat up. It's going to get stronger than ever. So maybe we should listen to what they're saying, these pro-lifers, rather than throwing them under the Trump train.
We are a little over 2 months out before the election. Minds are still being made up. Candidates are still shape-shifting in many ways. Positions are being shifted and changed. I urge all pro-lifers to come out right now and say, President Trump, stand for life. President Trump, if you want the pro-life vote, fight for life. You know, the pro-life vote is not owned. Nobody owns the pro-life vote. The pro-life vote is earned. And you don't earn the pro-life vote by throwing it under the bus.
And Lila Rose, a pro-life hero, is simply doing her job. It's what we've counted on people like that to do for 50 years in this country. And now suddenly we're crucifying her? Why? Well, not everyone is crucifying her. There's people speaking up all over the place, which, praise God, I'm so happy that people have the courage to speak out, people who have a lot to lose. Franciscan University professor, Dr. Michael Sirilla, for example, he tweets, quote, how far does Trump have to go for supporters to say, okay, I can't vote for him anymore. For me, it was his pro-choice pivot, a political candidate who denies the personhood or right to life of persons he wants to serve is unqualified for office. Full stop. We need abortion abolitionists, or abortion will always be legal. That's a professor in a Catholic college saying that. He's got a lot to lose. And why is he saying it? Friends, it's because this is not just about dead babies, okay? This is also about dead souls, our souls. What's going to happen to us? This is about us. What happens if we, after all these years, faithfully defending the unborn, if after all these years we too end up with the blood of babies all over our hands? What happens to us? Don't you see? Something in here will die. We will be complicit. We will have compromised. We will become them, at least to an extent. And this, friends, this is the slippery slope. It started with rape and incest, right? The exceptions, but it's gotten a lot worse now, hasn't it? Bishop Robert Barron was talking about this out on X just the other day. He says, when I was a young man, Democrats as prominent as Senator Edward Kennedy, Reverend Jesse Jackson, and yes, Joe Biden, were enthusiastic pro-life advocates. Last night at the Democrat National Convention, a mobile facility in which vasectomies and abortions were offered free of charge was parked right outside the hall. It has been just an appalling declension. And if you think I'm any less disappointed with the Republicans who have removed pro-life advocacy from their platform, think again. Your answer to that can't just be, so what? You're going to vote for Cammy the Commie? You want Tampon Tim? That's childish. That's insulting. Nobody's saying that. And I'm just too damn old to become a pro-abort for all the right reasons at this point in my life. And yes, I've read all the arguments. I'm not sitting out here behind some avatar with using a fake name, comment on somebody else's posts over on Facebook. Running a newspaper, coming out every 2 weeks, I have a responsibility before you and before God to get to the truth. So yeah, I've read all the arguments good priests are making, priests who tell us that we need to vote, we must vote for the lesser of two evils. I'm just unconvinced with that. I'm unconvinced by that argument. It doesn't make any sense to me. Thomas Aquinas lived in Sicily in the 14th century or whatever, telling us how to vote. So what were the principles, right? We got to go look at the principles, look what they actually were. And that's what we did as the editor of a newspaper who understands his responsibility before God and his readers. I got to get this right. So I consulted my own good traditional priests, even my own good friends who are bishops. And they urged me not to vote for Trump so long as he continues to support the abortion pill and IVF. Yes, my good priests tell me that St. Thomas does indeed use the phrase lesser evil in the Summa, but he offers no practical application for this to elections, right? The lesser evil justification must be applied then to concrete circumstances, not just to hypotheticals to cover our you-know-what so we can vote for people who are going to protect us from bad people, from the worst evil, right? So it's better in this case, so say my priestly advisors, stalwart priestly advisors, traditional Catholic priests, it's better to abstain from voting if that's our choice. And that's why we talked a few weeks ago about the conversation involving martyrdom. Maybe we are going to have to suffer, right? Maybe we will. It's always been like that, though, hasn't it? Heck, even the deists, we call ourselves patriots, even the deist founding fathers were saying things like, I regret that I only have one life to give for my country. Give me liberty or give me... What happened to that? We're like, well, if you don't vote for Trump, who are you going to vote for? Well, I don't know. That's what we're going to figure out. And for one thing, if you're in a blue state and you got a Christian constitutional conservative guy who's trying to start another third party option, I would say vote for him. Got to start somewhere. Especially when Donald Trump isn't even campaigning in your state, in your blue state, right? So there are things to talk, important things to talk about. So back to this lesser of two evils. Now what are we going to do? It's my good priest against your good priest. But again, over at remnantnewspaper.com, we continue to discuss this as adult Christians without, in other words, anathematizing each other. My friend and Remnant columnist Robert Morrison has done a great job. Got a new article out right now discussing kind of the other side of this. We're more or less in agreement, but not 100%. So we're having this discussion. I'm proud to publish his articles, trying to give people well-formed consciences. That's the whole point. In fact, last week we posted an article by a great priest friend of mine who explains probably what some of you are looking for when you talk about the lesser of two evils. What you actually mean, it's like idiocracy. It's what plants crave. It's got electrolytes. So what is it? I don't know, but it's what plant. It's the lesser of two evils. So nobody actually has, I don't think enough people have thought this through. I think what you mean is the principle of double effect, the principle of unintended consequences, right? Which does permit us to perform an act that has both a good and evil effect. That's what you probably mean. The church has specific guidelines on voting which bind us to contribute towards the common good of society, right? This is like kind of basic. Okay, maybe 101 discussion of the philosophy, of political philosophy, Catholic political philosophy. But this obligation comes to us as out of legal justice. So here's your concrete example. So where there are informed Catholic candidates in a given country who publicly support the teachings of the church, you can't just sit back and say, woo, I'm going to have a cigarette and a beer, I don't feel like voting. You must vote for him. You must be engaged for this Catholic candidate who's going to uphold the social kingdom of Jesus Christ, for example. There's a strict moral obligation for all of us to vote for that guy. That's what we're talking about, this obligation to vote. Otherwise, if you don't have that, it's up to the conscience of the individual. And that's why we're having this discussion with Robert Morrison and my good priest friend over at the Remnant to try to get down to the facts, to the principles, try to give people all the information they need to make the decision 2 months from now. There's no point whatsoever in making this decision right now. None at all. Now is the time to discuss it. Now is the time to apply pressure to a sellout on abortion that's going on with the Conservative Party in this country. You get it? We don't have to tear each other apart over this. Ever. Certainly not now, but never. Especially since Team Trump has essentially done what? They've essentially told us they don't really need our vote. They're going to go without us. Everything they're doing right now is like, forget you, pro-lifers. You guys were a liability in 2022. We're done with you. You couldn't hand us the election. Bye-bye. See ya. Have a nice weekend. That's what they're saying to us. It lets you off the hook. They're saying your vote doesn't matter, man. I got Elon Musk. I got Robert Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard. I do not need Lila Rose anymore. I do not need Abby Johnson. I do not need Michael Matt. I do not need Matt Walsh. That's what they're saying. Feel better now? If that's the way they feel about it, they must know something we don't. So the question is, must I vote for Donald Trump under pain of mortal sin, according to the principles which I just laid out for you, according to church teaching, the principles based on the Summa? Must I vote for Donald Trump? Don't be ridiculous. Of course not. Next question. Should I vote? And why is that? Is he the Catholic candidate that Pius XII was talking about when he said you must vote for these Catholic politicians who are doing good things for the state, for the common good? I don't even know if Donald Trump knows what denomination he is. Do you guys know?
Non-denominational?
Is he non-denominational? But he's doing his little thing. He's not a Catholic statesman that you must support under all circumstances. There's too much gray area, and the gray area is a gift to us right now. Too much of this is gray for us to feel, we must do this, or we're going to go to hell. We must attack each other, or we're going to go to, we're going to lose big time. We have to do it this way. You see? So the natural question, the question that we all actually should be asking ourselves is, can I vote? Can I vote for Donald Trump in the hope of avoiding something worse? And that's a legitimate question. I think it was about 3 weeks ago, I asked that question on this show, and I said, yeah, I think so. Self-defense to protect my kids from the other side that wants to eat them. I think I'll probably vote for Trump. But then something happened, friends. Something changed. This happened.
On the question of the abortion pill, what so many of us have said is that, look, we certainly don't. The Supreme Court made a decision saying that the American people should have access to that medication. Donald Trump has supported that opinion. I support that opinion.
How can I vote for that now? How can I do that? How is that the lesser of two evils? Just in terms of the number of dead babies, that's going to determine the morality Are they going to kill fewer than the other guys? I mean, if they really want to hand out the abortion pill, they really want to call it a medication, make it available, is that really the lesser of two evils? Well, maybe, hopefully, somebody in Team Trump, we used to get calls from Team Trump. We used to be on their, they'd call us up and want our help to kind of get some message out, right? So maybe somebody from Trump's team is watching this. If you guys are confused about the moral theology of this, you need to get it straight. Because this is something I can't vote for. I can't do it. And a lot of other good people can't do it. And quite frankly, we are tired of being told to violate our consciences every 4 years just to avoid some worse catastrophe, some terrible alternative. Aren't you kind of sick of that? Because it's like manipulation, right? It got you over the barrel. Hey, if you don't vote for us, guess what's going to happen to you, guy? You're going down. That's no way. I'm not going to fall for that. When Joe Biden came in, remember when he took over in 2020 and we're all like, oh man, what's going to happen? Everybody said it was over. It was the end. He's evil. He's this. And he is evil. Mostly he's an idiot, but yeah, he's evil. He's an apostate. We're doomed. Were we? What happened? We made no compromise. We continued to fight like hell. And guess what? An amazing alliance formed, didn't it? People began waking up all over the world. It reminded me when Pope Benedict stepped down, everybody said, holy cow, man, this Jesuit South American Bergoglio, it's all over. And what happened? Traditional Catholicism became stronger than it's ever been in 50 years. Because this is the way God works. So don't let them put you over that barrel. Don't let them terrorize and weaponize fear against you. Because what happened after Biden came in was a groundswell free speech alliance took off in this country, didn't it? You didn't see it coming, did you? I didn't see it coming. After COVID and everything, it seemed so dark. Do you remember this? But that attracted, that free speech, what they were so afraid of what we were doing, we're speaking principle, we're speaking truth, we're standing with Christ, we're standing with family, right? And it worked. They were so terrified of it, these wusses in big tech, that they spend all their time trying to shut us down. Don't let these guys say anything. Don't let them speak. If they speak, they're going to change the whole situation. They're going to convert the world, right? They're terrified of us. They were terrified then. They're terrified now. Don't forget that. Because we have truth on our side, and the truth will set you free. The truth will win out every time. And it won out after Biden came in. Attracted the attention, what we were doing, so many good people, the alliance that formed against him, attracted the attention of powerful warriors who woke up, who realized that now this is truly a battle against evil, who woke up, guys such as Tucker Carlson, God bless him, women such as Candace Owens, who's going to be at the Catholic Identity Conference in 3 weeks, for heaven's sakes, massive influence, converts to Catholicism, out there fighting every day like a modern-day Joan of Arc. Did you see that happening? You think Candace Owens can't stand up to Cackle and Cammy the commie? Are you kidding me? Then we picked up other people, Russell Brand types, just huge influence and sort of feeling their way through the darkness and finding and hearing good things about Jesus Christ and the rosary and truth, right? Which all led to some very strange fellow travelers, didn't it? Travelers who eventually kind of helped us beat back big tech and maybe, absolutely, even acquire part of big tech. Twitter, did you see that happening? Who saw that coming? Did you? No, you said it was all over, remember? If Biden gets in, it's over. That's what they all told us. It wasn't. We got stronger. So even if Trump loses in November, the movement that I'm talking about is woke. I'm talking woke for Christ, woke for God, woke for country, woke for family, woke for life. That movement is alive and well. It's not going anywhere, and neither are we. Especially with President, God help us, President Cammy the commie at the helm in this country. I mean, that movement that I'm talking about is going to be mad as hell. There's going to be war. Don't give up. But yeah, we lost political representation in 2020. But we kept our Catholic faith, friends. We kept our Catholic sense, the sensus Catholicus. We kept our dignity, right, as followers of Jesus Christ. We held on to principle. That's how you win. That's how they lose. If everything that they do to try to shut us down, change what's in here, if everything they do fails, and we're still out here standing with God, standing with life, standing with family, these demons are going to scatter. That's what happened. That's what's going to happen again. If we keep our pro-life, pro-God, pro-family fire alive. That's more important than elections. Any election. We face a scary one now, don't we? But you think we can't do it again? You honestly think we can't handle Cammy the commie? Please. Here's the thing, friends, and I'm going to close on this. We need to stay together, not some cliche. We literally need to keep the clans united against these demons. Whatever little dog and pony show elections they set us up for, right? We need to stay on God's side through it all by standing strong for life and for family, right? And if we're willing to suffer persecution for that, for what we believe, we may lose an election here and there, but we will not lose our soul. We will never lose our will to fight. That's what they want to stop. That's what they want to crush, our will to fight. So if we keep that alive, we will never become them. And that's how we win. Because in the end, God wins. And if we stay with him, we win. Don't doubt that. Because every evil force on the face of the earth today wants you to doubt that. And we stand up and we look at all of them. What do we say? We say we are Catholic. We are soldiers of Jesus Christ first. And we will always be soldiers of Jesus Christ first. And then we're Americans second. Right? Patriots second. And that makes us stronger than any political movement in the history of the world. Proclaimers of the social kingship of Jesus Christ. That's us. That's the honor that it's ours. So no matter what happens in November, we will stand with God. We will still be standing with God. We will still protect life. And we will not team up with the children of darkness just to save our skins. We will prepare our children to face martyrdom before they do that. And at the end of this life, please God, no matter what happens, may we stand before Christ the King as one of his own, one of the children of light who never lost faith in him. That's the race I want to win. That's the faith I want to keep. That's the God I want to serve. And if that means we have to give up our freedom, our safety, even our lives, for the sake of the unborn, then God will give us the strength to do just that with total trust in him, because he's the one who said, greater love than this no man hath than to lay down his life for his friends. Mr. Trump, we stood with you in the past, and we may stand with you again in the future. But you need to stand with the unborn first. Every last one of them.